Billionaire discovers incredible talent of homeless girl, a heartwarming journey of transformation. In the shadows of downtown Chicago, a remarkable story was waiting to unfold. A little girl named Sarah, just 12 years old, found herself living on the streets with her mother, wrapped in a tattered cardboard shelter. Amidst the hustle of city life, cars honking, people rushing, dreams brewing, Sarah's incredible talent remained a whispered secret, known only to a few. Her voice, pure and haunting, could light up the darkest corners of their lives. But in the chaos of the city, could anyone truly see her? Every evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, Sarah would sneak into the local community center, her heart racing. It was her haven. There, under the flickering fluorescent lights, she sang with an intensity that took flight beneath the echoing hallways. Her beautiful melodies danced in the air, capturing the attention of a few weary souls who paused for a moment only to move on, leaving Sarah in silence once more. They couldn't know that her voice spoke the hidden tales of her heart, tales of longing and dream. Then there's Jordan, the tech mogul, a glimmering figure in the boardroom, flush with success and fortune. But behind closed doors, he was haunted by the emptiness that accompanied his wealth. One night, reluctantly attending a charity event for community relations, he stepped into a world he couldn't fully grasp. It was there, amidst the blend of laughter and hope, that Sarah's voice pierced through the noise. Each note seemed to reach inside him, igniting a fire he didn't realize he had stifled. In that moment, he saw her, a precious star shining among the forgotten. After her performance, Jordan found Sarah in a quiet corner, still trembling from the exhilarating release of her song. Their eyes met, and an unspoken connection sparked between them. He offered her a chance, a glimmer of hope in a world that often overlooked such treasures. Together, they began a journey fueled by ambition and goodwill, each step pulling them closer, but soon the glittering world began to stir doubt within Sarah's heart. Excitement simmered alongside the pressures of newfound expectations, the bright lights casting shadows on her dreams. Back at the cardboard shelter, her mother battled her own demons, addiction gripping her in its relentless hold. Tension bubbled between them as Sarah felt the weight of her dreams collide with family loyalty, a struggle that left her breathless. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The moment of reckoning arrived when Sarah and Jordan planned a public showcase, poised to unveil her talent to the world. Excitement crackled but self-doubt spiraled, turning what was meant to be magic into chaos. Emotions erupted, words flew, and pain hung heavy in the air. It was clear, Jordan realized that to truly uplift Sarah required understanding not just her voice, but who she was. With the community rallying behind her, Sarah stood center stage at an annual music festival. As she sang, heads turned, eyes widened, emotions soared. They heard her story, the struggles intertwined in each note, a collective heartbeat of hope and resilience. Yet, as the crowd erupted with cheers, the question lingered ominously: would this moment uplift not just her dreams, but her family too? As Jordan watched, he grappled with his own questions and the weight of their bond. The applause echoed, but could they rise above their disparate worlds together, or would the forces pulling them apart prove too strong? Each note she sang resonated with the uncertainty of their journey, swirling with promise and fear, whispering for answers yet to be found. The cheers faded into a heartbeat of silence as Sarah took her final bow. In that moment, her world felt both expansive and constricted. She tasted triumph on her tongue, yet fear lurked just beneath the surface. The crowd's applause was thunderous, but all she could hear was the echo of her mother's struggles, chilling her heart. Jordan stood at the side stage, his gaze glued to her. He felt an odd mixture of pride and guilt. Here was this young girl, his discovery, transformed before his eyes, yet something deep inside him felt the weight of her burdens. As the audience continued to cheer, he noticed Sarah's smile begin to fade, a flicker of uncertainty crossing her features. His joy for her success was tempered by the nagging worry that fame wouldn't heal the wounds of her life. "Sarah! Sarah!" Calls from the crowd rang out, deeper voices mixed with encouragement. Some recognized her from their own struggles. They were there for her. They could see her. She slipped off the stage, her heart racing, but it wasn't the thrill of applause that moved her, it was the hope flowing through the crowd. Still, a shadow followed her. She needed to talk to her mother about everything: the performance, the future, the possibility of a real life. "Hey! You were incredible. You really moved everyone," Jordan said, rushing to catch up to her, a wide smile on his face. She could see his sincerity, the pride radiating from him. But the happiness felt distant for her. "Thanks, but I need to find Mom," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. She pushed past him, weaving through the mass of people who loved and adored her. In the thrumming chaos, Sarah felt alone. Jordan's expression shifted to worry as he followed her, concern threading his brow. "Let me come with you. I can help." "No. I don't want to talk to anyone but her." She shot back, the fire of her emotions spilling over. "You don't know what it's like." "No, I don't," he admitted softly, his voice lower. "But I'm willing to learn, Sarah. It doesn't have to be you against the world." As she turned away, the festival's festive air felt stifling. Breathing in deeply, she attempted to steady herself. Yet everywhere she looked, the reminders of her struggles felt magnified. The laughter felt foreign, joy shadowed by the concern building in her heart. Finding their cardboard shelter had never felt so daunting. Facing her mother with all her newfound fame and excitement felt like pitting dreams against reality. What if her mother couldn't handle it? What if her success only drove a bigger wedge between them? A familiar voice cut through her thoughts. "Sarah? Is that you?" It was Maria, a woman from the shelter who had once shared stories with Sarah about tough times. Approaching her with a sense of familiarity, Maria's eyes glimmered with something close to admiration. "I heard you sing, girl. You're going to change the world. But will I change mine?" The inner voice rebutted, a cold reminder of the vulnerability she faced back home. Sarah felt her throat tighten. "Thanks, Maria. But my world needs fixing first," she whispered, desperately seeking reassurance. As night fell, stars began to peek through the city lights, and she hesitated, her mind racing. "What if I could change my family too?" Jordan caught up, confusion written across his face. "What are you thinking? What if I fail to save my mom?" She mumbled, tears threatening to spill. "What if then we'll face it together? I promise." His words hung in the air, pure and steady. They stood together under the night sky, the sounds of the audience dissipating around them like a fading dream. In that quiet place between hope and fear, a decision loomed. Sarah had the chance to take a leap, but would it be for her mother? Or for herself? Each moment ticked by, uncertainty binding them together. With every breath, Sarah knew she stood at a crossroads. What would be the choice? The answer would shape her future, in more ways than one. As she looked to Jordan, she silently pondered the depths of their connection. Would she dare reach not just for the stars, but for the heart of her family too? Would lightning strike twice in her life, illuminating both dreams and the darkness? The weight of the choices ahead wrapped around her heart, and with that, the next step became breathtakingly clear. Sarah's heart raced as she stepped away from Jordan, the noise of the festival fading behind her. The cool night air wrapped around her, but it felt heavy, almost suffocating. She glanced back at the crowd, still buzzing with energy, yet it seemed light years away from her reality. Her heart tugged her towards the cardboard shelter that served as both her home and her confinement, a sanctuary and a prison all in one. Pushing through the throng of spectators was a challenge. Each face was wrapped in joy, hope, and the promise of tomorrow. Yet, Sarah couldn't shake the burden weighing on her shoulders. Every step felt like trudging through mud, pulling her back towards the memories of cold nights and worry for her mother. She needed to show her that life could be more. Finally, she reached the familiar street where shadows danced in the flickering lamplight. Now, each step felt monumental. The warmth of the crowd's love began to feel like an echo. Would her mother see her differently now? Would they be able to reconnect over something bigger than their struggles? As she approached their makeshift home, the sight of it twisted her insides. It was just as she remembered, sun-bleached cardboard and tattered blankets, held together with the remnants of their hopes. She pushed aside the fear bubbling inside, instead picturing her mother's face when she would tell her about the performance, the audience, the never-ending applause. But what if her mother didn't care? What if she wasn't ready to hear it? The possibilities spun around like a whirlwind, tugging at her heartstrings. Her hand trembled as she reached for the flap covering the entrance, wavering on the threshold between old life and new. "Mom?" she called softly, her voice almost lost in the night. Silence hung thick in the air, punctuated only by the distant sounds of laughter from the festival winding down. "Mom, it's me." No answer. With a deep breath, she crawled inside. The dim light revealed the familiar disarray of the past mixed with the stagnant, heavy air of worry. It felt different, empty. "Sarah?" Her mother's voice floated from the back, unsteady. Sarah's heart lifted. "I'm here." Sarah stepped further inside, squinting her eyes to find her mother slumped on their mattress of worn blankets. The sight hit her like a blow to the gut. Lines of fatigue etched deep on her mother's face sent waves of concern crashing over Sarah. "What are you doing here?" "I thought you were at the festival," her mother grumbled, caught between exhaustion and a flicker of surprise. I was," Sarah stumbled over her words. "I performed, Mom. I really did. And it was amazing. People were cheering for me." Her mother's eyes showed the hint of a smile, yet it faded quickly. "That's all well and good, Sarah, but we have more important things to worry about." The weight of her mother's words crushed the joy bubbling inside Sarah. "What do you mean? Don't you see? This could be our chance. We can change everything." The desperation seeped into her words, urging her mother to engage, to hold on to hope. "Change? Life doesn't just change, Sarah," her mother muttered, shaking her head as if brushing away the idea. "You don't understand." Sarah's chest tightened, frustration rising. "But I do. I have a chance at something better. Something for both of us." For a moment, silence enveloped them, their gazes locked like grappling vines. Both were clinging to scraps of their past but yearning for so much more. "I don't want you to get hurt again," her mother's voice broke, vulnerability crashing against her stubbornness. "Mom, I'm stronger now." Sarah fought to keep the tremor out of her voice. "We can be stronger together. Please, just believe in me." Tears pooled in her mother's weary eyes, reflecting the flickering shadows of doubt. Each blink felt like a door swinging open. Sarah held her breath, waiting for her mother to step through, but would she? Would her mother find the courage to step into the light of Sarah's success? The tension hovered in the air, electrifying. And in that moment, the future felt fragile. Teetering on the edge of possibility. "Sarah," her mother began, but before she could finish, the sound of footsteps echoed from outside, drawing their attention. "What now?" Sarah murmured, anxiety creeping into her voice. They both turned to the entrance, where the silhouette of a figure loomed against the night sky. The familiar outline made Sarah's heart skip a beat. Could it be Jordan? Or someone from the festival? What awaited them on the other side of that door? Would it unravel everything they'd just begun to piece together? The figure at the entrance stepped forward, the glow from the streetlight catching the familiar features of Jordan. Relief washed over Sarah for just a moment before panic surged again. What was he doing here? Could he sense the tension, the fragility of the moment hanging like a taut string? Jordan, she breathed, her voice breaking the stillness. What are you doing here? He stood there, looking unsure, his bright eyes scanning the room. I was hoping to find you. I meant what I said earlier, about the festival. Her heart fluttered again, warm and bittersweet. I just got back. Mom was just Sarah, your mom. Jordan interrupted, stepping closer. She's not alone. I saw her before I came here. She's been worried about both of you. A knot formed in Sarah's stomach. Worried? About what? Jordan hesitated, glancing at her mother curled up on the mattress. The shadows cast across her face made the lines of age and weariness seem deeper. About you not being there, about the world outside this place. I think she feels. He paused, and the words felt heavy, isolated. Sarah's hands trembled at her sides. Inside, she was a swirl of confusion and guilt. Jordan continued, I want to help, Sarah. I think we can find a way for both of you. Help? Her mother croaked from behind them, finally pushing herself upright. The poignant mix of fatigue and surprise hung in the air. Mom, Sarah said, her voice wavering. Jordan's presence felt overwhelming yet comforting. He wants to help us. Her mother's eyes darted between Sarah and Jordan, and it was hard to read her expression. There was disbelief laced with skepticism, shadows of fear creeping into the corners. In what way? She asked, her voice steadying but still thin. Jordan stepped forward, his confidence shining through. I can get you both into a better living situation. Maybe even a job for you, Sarah. You have talent. You can shine. We just need to take the first step. Sarah's heart leaped, thoughts racing wildly. Was this real? Could they really change everything? But then the reality of their life pressed down again. We can't just, but what if we could? Jordan interrupted, determination flaring in his eyes. What if you started believing that you deserve more? That life can be different? Her mother's gaze softened, but distrust lingered beneath the surface. What's the catch? You think you can just swoop in and make all our problems disappear? Jordan shook his head, earnest. It's not like that. I want to invest in you, but you have to trust me. Trust that it can be different. You both deserve more than just this. Silence cloaked the room. Every second felt like hours as Sarah waited for her mother's response, her heart beating in tandem with the doubts swirling in her mind. Maybe, her mother said, her voice fragile, but how do we even begin? Just take that first step with me, Jordan urged, hope pouring from his voice. I can set up auditions, get you into programs that can help. What if I fail? Sarah finally squeaked out, the fear bubbling to the surface. Jordan took a step closer, his eyes steady and filled with sincerity. What if you succeed? The weight of uncertainty hung thick among them. Their life had been one long series of setbacks, and this felt like the steepest climb yet. Think about it, he pleaded. You're already halfway there by believing in yourself. Now we can make it happen together. As Sarah's mother's face softened, contemplation drifting through her weary features, Sarah felt a flicker of something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. But before she could offer a response, a loud crashing sound erupted from outside, jolting their fragile moment. It was followed by frantic footsteps, and for a heartbeat, the world beyond their cardboard walls felt threatening. What was that? Sarah gasped, her heart racing. Before anyone could answer, the silhouette of a second figure appeared in the dim light outside their home. It was bigger, looming, filled with an aggressive energy that made her gut tighten. Get back! Sarah's mother's voice rose, panic threading through each word. Jordan stepped forward, ready to shield them, who had come to invade their moment of hope. What would happen now, when their dreams hung in the balance? The moment hung like a balloon about to pop. Sarah's heart raced as the figure outside loomed closer, blocking the last remnants of light from their tiny home. She could barely make out the details, but the tension in the air was palpable, a storm brewing just beyond the threshold. "Stay behind me," Jordan said, the bravado in his voice masking his own fear as he positioned himself between them and the encroaching figure. His hands curled into fists, ready to defend rather than retreat. "Mom," Sarah whispered, her voice quaking. She couldn't take her eyes off the shadow. It moved closer, a silhouette of uncertainty and danger. "What do you want?" Sarah's mother barked, her tone a mix of protective instinct and defiance. The stranger stepped into the weak glow of the streetlight, revealing a scruffy man with wild hair and a twisted expression. His presence sent shivers down Sarah's spine, a warning that danger had come for them. "I'm not here to fight," he grunted, his voice rough and gravelly. "I just need a moment." He leaned against the wall, breath coming in heavy gulps as if he had just run a marathon. "Just a moment?" Jordan's suspicion was clear as he squared his shoulders. "You think you can just waltz in here?" The man pushed off the wall slowly, eyes darting nervously between them. "I've heard whispers about talent," he croaked. "Something about a girl, a voice that could change everything." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Talent? Could he be talking about her? Earlier doubt slipped away, replaced by a flicker of curiosity. "What do you know?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've been around," the man said, his posture shrinking slightly. "Seen things. But your mom," he nodded toward her mother, you both can do something better. You just need a way out." Jordan narrowed his eyes, unwilling to let his guard down. "What do you want from us?" "Nothing. Just an opportunity." The man's hands shook, revealing a vulnerability beneath the wild front. "I can help open doors, people I know. But you have to trust me." Sarah looked at her mother, whose expression wavered between skepticism and intrigue. This was a new player in their game. Could he really be an ally? "What do you think, Mom?" Sarah asked, her voice quivering. Her mother's gaze flickered back and forth, weighing everything. "Trust can be a funny thing," she finally said. "We've been let down before. That's why we need something different," Jordan insisted, determination rising in his voice. "Who knows what could happen?" The man shifted awkwardly, seeming to sense the doubt lingering in the room. "I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in your talent, girl. One way or another, people need to know who you are." A soft breeze rustled through the fabric of their makeshift home, carrying a sense of possibility. The weight of fear began to lift, revealing the glimmers of hope that had been buried beneath layers of struggle. "Think about it," Jordan urged, voice a low whisper. "We have a chance. What if this is the opportunity we've been waiting for?" The tension in the room simmered as the possibilities hung like fog. But what if the stranger was just making empty promises? Sarah's heart beat heavily in her chest, shifting between the thrill of potential and the aching fear of failure. "Mom?" she said softly, searching her mother's face for any sign of support, those piercing eyes fixed on her, finally meeting Sarah's hope with something warmer, an ember of belief. "You only get one life," her mother replied slowly. "And sometimes you have to take a chance, even when it scares you." As they considered the next step, the atmosphere crackled with both danger and possibility. Could they really step into the unknown, embracing whatever lay ahead? Just then, another noise interrupted their thoughts, louder this time, echoing down the street. "Stay close," Jordan called out, shifting his stance once more, eyes darting toward the sound. What if this latest twist brought even more trouble? As the night grew darker, shadows deepened, and Sarah's heart pounded with questions. Would they face yet another threat, or could they finally seize the chance they had been dreaming of? The sound echoed again, sharper this time, slicing through the thick silence that wrapped around their small home. Heavy footfalls grew louder as the figure in the street approached, and Sarah felt her heart race faster. The stranger standing at their door glanced nervously in the direction of the noise. His dark eyes shone with a mixture of fear and anticipation. "Listen," he said, lowering his voice, "I swear I mean no harm. But if people are coming, we need to move. They're not who you want to see tonight." "Who?" Sarah's mom snapped, her protective front showing no sign of wavering. "Who's coming?" The stranger's brow furrowed. "I didn't think I need a way to blend in. I thought you could help with that." He took a small step back, throwing glances over his shoulder, clearly agitated. Jordan stepped forward, still positioned defensively, but now curious. "Help you? How? We don't even know you." Stray beams of light flickered in the distance, the telltale signs of headlights advancing down their quiet street. Time seemed to slow as the realization hit Sarah like a cold breeze. They didn't have the luxury of pondering his intentions any longer. They had to make a decision. "Mom, what do we do?" she asked, her voice trembling. "We can't just stay here." Her mother's eyes widened, scanning their space for options. "We can't just run away blindly. We need a plan." The man inhaled deeply, shaking his head as if trying to clear fog from his mind. "I swear, if you help me, I'll help you too. What I've got is worth the risk. You don't even know yet what's waiting for you." Jordan turned to Sarah's mom, the unease flashing across his face. "What if he's right? What if this is our chance? But how do we even know we can trust him?" "Listen to me," the man urged, desperation leaking into his voice. "You need to trust someone, and right now, you're running out of options. People who want to control talent, to silence it they'll come here. I'm involved in a fight for survival. I can show you how to fight back." As the car lights grew nearer, Sarah felt the adrenaline flood her veins. It was now or never. She looked to her mother, who was wrestling with the very idea of hope. "Maybe we have to take that chance," Sarah whispered hesitantly. What if he's telling the truth? I can't keep hiding forever." Her mother's expression softened a little, and for a moment, Sarah saw that ember of belief grow even brighter. "If we do this, we must stick together. No second guessing. We need a solid plan. Let us move," Jordan's voice cut in, firm and urgent. "We can't be here when they come." "All right," Sarah's mother said with a shaky breath, gathering herself and taking a step toward the stranger. "What do you need from us?" The man smiled faintly, though it didn't reach his anxious eyes. "First, we need to blend in with the crowd. Follow me." With an unsteady heart, but a renewed sense of purpose, Sarah took a step toward the unknown. The adrenaline pumped through her, propelling her forward as they huddled together, ready to face whatever lay ahead. As they moved away from their home, Sarah felt something shift within her, a sense of empowerment igniting in her chest. This could be the turning point. But what other secrets did this man hold? And what awaited them beyond the darkness? As they hurried down the street, a thought lingered in Sarah's mind: would they find light, or were they stepping deeper into shadows? The three of them followed the stranger, the soft crunch of gravel beneath their feet masked by the building tension. Sarah clung to her mother's arm, seeking comfort, while Jordan stayed close behind, eyes scanning the street for any signs of danger. The world around them felt surreal, shadows emerging from every corner, stretching like dark fingers across their path. "Where are we going?" Sarah asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Just around the block," the stranger replied, hastening his pace. "We need a place to hide, somewhere that won't draw attention." "Hide? We're not trying to run," her mother firmly said, an edge in her tone now. "We need to understand what we're getting into first." "You'll have to trust me," he urged, glancing back at them with an intensity that lit a spark of uncertainty in Sarah's gut. "I promise you this is bigger than all of us." They rounded the corner, and the street widened, revealing a flickering neon sign that buzzed like a restless spirit. The entrance of a small diner awaited them, a portal to refuge. "Here." The stranger breathed, pushing the door open. They stepped inside, the warmth of the diner wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. The smell of greasy fries and burnt coffee permeated the air. It felt almost normal. Almost safe. "Now what?" Jordan asked, taking a seat in a booth at the back while Sarah and her mother slid in beside him. "Now we blend in," he said, his voice steady. "Act like you belong. They want to look for you in plain sight." "Blend in?" Her mom echoed, incredulity mingling with her fear. "How do we do that?" "Just be yourselves," the man replied, lowering his voice. "Enjoy your meals, talk like it's any regular night. I'll explain why I came to you." As they settled into awkward small talk, Sarah poking at her untouched fries, Jordan pretending to study the menu, she stole glances at the stranger. He looked like a man haunted, adrenaline making his features sharp and anxious. A part of her wanted to trust him, to leap into the unknown, but the other part held back, nagging at her with doubts. "Why us?" she finally dared to ask, her heart racing. "What makes us so special?" The stranger smiled slightly, but there was sadness in his eyes. "Because I've seen your talent. It's rare, and it's needed. People like you can spark change, but it comes with risks." Sarah's curiosity piqued. "What talent?" He leaned closer, his tone lowering as if sharing a secret that could break the air. "You have a gift, Sarah. A power that can help people. A power that the wrong people would want to control. But you have the chance to use it for good." "Power?" Sarah echoed, confusion flooding her. "You don't know me. What power?" Just then, the door swung open, a gust of cold air sweeping inside. Sarah's heart stopped as several figures stepped through, their faces obscured by shadows and hoods. They moved with an unsettling confidence, eyes scanning the diner like hawks on the hunt. Her mother's hand gripped Sarah's tighter, a warning. "Who are they?" The stranger's expression darkened, resolve grinding through his fear. "The very people I warned you about. They'll stop at nothing to find me and to silence you." Chills raced down Sarah's spine. The stakes had never felt higher. She glanced at Jordan, whose eyes mirrored her panic, and then back at the stranger, needing answers. "What now?" His gaze flickered to the side, directing them secretly to the back door. "We run," he said, his voice low and urgent. "Now." As they prepared to scramble towards the escape, Sarah felt the weight of uncertainty and hope coiling inside her. The future was unknown, but change was inevitable. And deep within her, something began to stir, a flicker of resolve that she couldn't ignore. But what if the talent he spoke of was truly within her? Would she have the courage to embrace it when they ran? As they moved toward the back, the cold grip of fear tightened and excitement bubbled, forcing Sarah to confront the question that loomed large: were they truly ready to fight back? They darted toward the back door, heartbeats pounding in their ears like thunder. Sarah's mother shot a quick glance at the figures in the diner, who were now weaving through the tables with the fluidity of predators. The stranger led the way, urgency in every step. "Keep your heads down," he whispered hurriedly, pushing the door open just enough for them to slip through. The cold air hit Sarah's face like a splash of ice water, shocking her senses awake. They scurried across a narrow alley, the shadows wrapping around them like a cloak. She could hear snippets of voices behind them. The hoods had split up, narrowing the search. A shiver ran down her spine, each second felt like an eternity. "Where do we go now?" Jordan panted, glancing back. "There's an old garage nearby. We can hide there," the stranger responded, glancing around as if the walls themselves were listening. They hurried down the alley, feet pounding against the wet pavement. The streetlights flickered overhead, casting ghostly figures as they hurried past. Sarah's mind swirled, trying to grasp what was happening. The man had called her talented. Was it true? What did that even mean? They reached the garage, a forgotten hulk at the end of the alley. The door creaked ominously as the stranger shoved it aside. Dust filled the air, swirling around them like the uncertainty that clouded Sarah's heart. The darkness embraced them, making her feel small and vulnerable. "Stay close," her mother said, holding Sarah's hand tightly. Once inside, the stranger closed the door, the echo reverberating in the silence. They crouched in the far corner, shadows concealing them, waiting for the echoing sounds of pursuit to fade. "Why are they after you?" Sarah dared to ask, her voice quivering. "What do you have that they want?" The stranger caught his breath and leaned against the wall, his face shadowed. "I'm part of something much larger. A group that believes in people like you, Sarah." He paused, scanning their faces. "But there are those who want to control that power. They'll use it for their own gain, no matter the cost." "What power?" Sarah pressed, frustration bubbling. "You keep mentioning it, but you never explain." The stranger sighed, his eyes softening. "You have a unique intuition, a connection to things beyond what others see. When you feel something deeply, you can change the course of events. But it's not just about you, it's about everyone around you. And that's why you're in danger." Sarah frowned, trying to piece everything together. "What if I don't want it? What if it's too much?" Her mother squeezed her hand. "It's okay to be scared. But you have to decide what to do next." Just then, the faint sound of footsteps echoed outside. All three of them froze. Sarah's heart raced, she felt like a deer caught in headlights. The stranger looked at them with renewed urgency. "Listen carefully," he whispered. "If they find us, I need you to trust me. You have to focus, believe in what you feel. I can help you learn to control it, but first we must keep you safe." He was serious, the weight of their situation hanging heavy in the air. Sarah's breath quickened. Outside, voices grew louder, brushes of fabric against each other as their pursuers drew closer. A wave of panic washed over her, mixed with an odd sense of determination. "What if I don't know how?" she whispered, riddled with uncertainty. "Then we practice together," he said, a small flicker of a smile forming on his lips. "You have more strength than you know. And we're ready for this, together." With a deep breath, Sarah steadied herself, feeling the warmth in her mother's hand, the strength in Jordan's unwavering gaze. The moment hung in the air, thick with tension and the promise of possibility. Just as the door rattled, an idea sparked. What if she stepped into the light? What if she could really fight back? But as the door creaked open, their fate swayed in the balance. Were they truly ready for the battle that lay ahead? The door creaked open slowly, revealing a figure cloaked in shadow. Sarah's breath hitched in her throat. The cold draft pulled at her edges, as the stranger shifted slightly, his gaze fixed on the entrance. If they wanted out of this garage, now was the time. "Stay behind me," the stranger instructed, shifting to block their path. Sarah squeezed her mother's hand tighter, drawing comfort from her warmth. She felt a surge of protectiveness not just for herself, but for the two who stood with her. Could she truly trust the stranger, whose fate seemed as entwined with theirs as their hands were in this moment? The silhouette in the doorway stepped forward, revealing one of the hoods, his face obscured by a cap. He scanned the room with sharp, calculating eyes. "I know you're in here," he called, his voice low and menacing. "This is pointless. Just come out, and we can make this easy." The stranger took a step back, his breathing calm, but Sarah could feel tension radiating off him. "You don't know what you're messing with," he responded, voice steady, but Sarah could sense the tremor beneath. "What power?" Sarah's words slipped out before she could stop them. Was she really ready to challenge the darkness pressing against them? The hoods had grown bold. "We have all night. You're not getting away, not this time," he sneered. With that, a few more figures joined him, each carrying an air of entitlement mixed with menace. Fear gripped her heart, but beneath the layers of dread, something flickered, a memory of warmth, a whisper of hope. Was it the power the stranger mentioned? Focus on the feeling, the stranger urged softly, bringing her back. You have to visualize what you want to happen. Use your intuition. Sarah felt a rush, her heart pounding with the urgency of the situation. She focused on the air around her, feeling its weight, the electric charge sparking just beneath the surface. It was a different kind of fear now, and anticipation blossomed within her. What if she could do this? The walls felt like they were drawing closer. Could she really push back? "Mom, hold my hand," she instructed. Her mother grasped it tighter, eyes wide with a mix of fear and trust. Jordan stood beside them, his eyes meeting hers, filled with belief. Together, Sarah breathed, the word vibrations settling among them, knitting their strength. Suddenly, she felt a pulse, a wave of warmth spreading from her center, illuminating the gray shadows hovering around them. She inhaled deeply, inviting it to surge forth. It felt powerful, natural, like something that had always been hidden inside, waiting for a moment just like this. The figures outside paused, a flicker of confusion crossing their faces. Sarah directed her focus outward, a fiery resolve igniting. She reached toward the fear, the suffocating pain of their pursuit, and felt it shift. With a thought, she pushed a burst of energy rippling through the cold air. The garage trembled with her determination. "Now!" shouted the stranger. Without waiting, they rushed toward the door, the stranger leading the charge. But Sarah lingered for a second longer. She turned back to the darkness, now pulsating with a different rhythm. Had she truly tapped into something? Could she really have the power to change this? Her heart racing, Sarah sprinted through the door behind the others, feeling the echo of her energy fading behind her, the weight of possibility urging her on. But as they burst into the street, they found a more formidable barrier awaiting them. Hoods were everywhere, blocking their escape. Hope flickered once more. She'd need every ounce of strength to turn this around. "Keep going," the stranger shouted, his urgency now in sync with her heartbeat. As they sprinted amid the confusion, Sarah felt the power inside her pulse anew. This was just the beginning of her journey, a journey that could lead to liberation or disaster. What awaited them in the night? Would she be able to wield her newfound power to save herself and those she loved? With adrenaline coursing through their veins, Sarah, her mother, and Jordan barreled into the chaos of the street, where shadows danced and uncertainty loomed over them. The hoods tightened their grip, blocking every exit, creating walls of fear and doubt. But Sarah felt a flicker within her, a shield of warmth against the cold web of despair. "Stay together," whispered the stranger, urgency lacing his voice as he surveyed their surroundings. "We need to move while there's still surprise on our side." His alert eyes darted from face to face, gauging the risk, calculating their escape. "Let us go," Jordan urged, grabbing Sarah's hand tightly. In that instant, Sarah felt an electric charge spark at her fingertips, connecting her to the very world she sought to change. She could feel the hum of existence around her, voices merging into a chorus of hope and danger. "I can do this," she whispered to herself, gathering every ounce of courage she possessed. The hoods began to close in. "You won't get away this time," one of them snarled, his eyes blazing with malevolence. Sarah's heart raced, every moment counted. She clutched her mother's hand tighter. "Mom, breathe with me," she encouraged, feeling the rhythm of their unity. "Let us use this together." Her mother nodded, though uncertainty lingered in her eyes. "Now if I can just harness this feeling." Sarah started to focus. The world slowed, every sound fading except for the pounding of her heart and the rush of air around her as she gathered her thoughts into a single point of intention. "Behind you!" the stranger yelled, and they turned just in time to see one of the hoods lunging forward, but this time, Sarah knew she had to act. "Feel it!" she shouted, summoning her newfound power. She imagined a wave breaking over the darkness, like sunlight dispelling the night. With a deep breath, Sarah pushed outwards, visualizing her energy shooting forth, wrapping around the incoming threat like a protective barrier. A bright flash erupted from her, a swirling light that seemed to illuminate the darkness, creating an opening among the gathered foes. In that moment, surrounded by pulsating energy, Sarah caught a glimpse of possibility. She would not waver now. "Run!" she cried. They dashed towards the new opening, the warmth of her spirit guiding them. The hoods, momentarily stunned, stumbled back, confusion etched across their faces. As they burst through the makeshift barrier, laughter and the music from the nearby festival poured into their ears like a refreshing spring breeze. Sarah beamed with a sense of triumph, yet a flicker of fear still lurked within. But there was no time for hesitation. "We need to get to safety," the stranger urged as they slipped through the crowd, weaving between smiling faces that were wrapped in warmth and joy. "Where do we go?" Sarah asked, eyes wide, still reeling from the chaos they just escaped. "There's a safe house nearby away from prying eyes. We can regroup and plan," he replied, hope igniting in his voice. "Together." And that word brought them strength. They sprinted towards the safe house, feet pounding against the pavement, hearts racing in unison. The music of the festival echoed in the distance, a reminder of beauty and life outside their struggles. Finally reaching the house, they slipped inside, and relief washed over them as they locked the door. They leaned against it, panting, the weight of the moment settling into their bones. Sarah looked at her mother, whose face bore the lines of worry but now glinted with something else, a spark of belief in possibility. "Sarah, that was incredible!" Jordan exclaimed, turning to her, his eyes wide with admiration. "You found a way to fight back." "I didn't do it alone," Sarah responded, slipping her arms around her mother's shoulders. "We did it together." A silence filled the room, heavy yet warm, before their stranger spoke, his voice soft yet filled with consideration. "The journey you're beginning is filled with challenges, but you have something special, Sarah. Your voice, it can change lives. I believe it's time for us to create our own story," Sarah whispered, her heart buoyed by determination. They looked at one another, the bonds of connection deepening as they shared the warmth emanating from their hopes. But then the reality settled heavy again. The threat still loomed out there. "What's next?" Sarah asked, the weight of this new journey settling in. "We prepare," the stranger answered, eyes gleaming with ambition. "Together, we'll harness your talent. We'll show the world your voice and use it to inspire change. But first, we have to stay safe." Tears of joy pooled in Sarah's eyes as she felt that awakening possibility within her. They had faced darkness together. The strength of family and community ignited a flame in her that would not be easily extinguished. They would fight for dreams not just her own, but for those around her. As they gathered together, a pact forged in the warmth of hope and love, Sarah dared to dream once more. She would rise, singing louder than ever, bringing light to those in the shadows, and deep inside, she understood a new dawn was on the horizon. The real journey was just beginning. Now, everyone watching, this is where you come in. You need to subscribe immediately to stay with us on this inspirational journey. This is the moment to show your support for stories that uplift and empower. Leave a like now to help us reach more dreamers, because sharing is caring. Comment below with what this transformation means to you and let us connect. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel this spark of hope. Let us spread the love, the power, the dreams.